Being able to do something and then see the end result is so rewarding. Any kind of advertising you can do, you just have to constantly be on the forefront of people's minds.
This is So You Want to Start a Business, episode number 9. We're sitting down today to talk to Arlette and Terri, who are the owners of the Fleur Market in Logan. So first of all, tell me how you guys got started with business in general.
Well, I can talk about that.
You started, so you start. Yeah.
For the floral business, I always loved doing flowers.
Yeah.
When I would go to my grandma's house, and I would just go to her yard, and I'm sure she loved that I picked all of her flowers.
Right.
I put her flowers into containers, just so that she could have them around her house.
Yeah.
She had all these random tulips that were growing in her backyard, and so it was always so cool. It felt like you were just walking out to your farm of flowers, and you could just pick them all, and then she didn't care. So anyway, so I started doing that, and then my mom, she always loved having flowers for parties, and so we would just go to the grocery store and get flowers and just kind of decorate for parties.
Yeah.
And one day I had a friend that asked if I would help her with her wedding, and so we just decided sure, and we ordered flowers online, and I mean, this was probably when the internet was very new,
right?
So we prayed that they came, and they did. So we did our first wedding. I think it was in 2007.
Oh, cool.
So
that's
anyway,
cool.
So we just did a friend's wedding, and then just from word of mouth, people just would call and say, "Hey, I heard you do weddings," and it was just a kind of like a labor of love at the beginning, and then we would do a wedding a month, and then it just kind of blossomed from there. So
that's so cool. So where was your launch point into business? Do you remember your pivotal moment of okay, we got to get this all set up?
Probably, I don't know, 6 months to a year into that. I had a former business partner that we just kind of talked about, well, we should probably have a name.
Right.
And just,
So how we met.
Yes.
Because this, I think, is part of the launching.
Yeah.
So I own the Ryder Mansion. So I own the venue. And so they would come decorate, do flowers. And so we all kind of just were there's really a market here in Logan for that.
Right.
Yes. And so we would work together as far as me being on the venue side of it, Terri and Susie be on the floral side of it. And then it just kind of evolved into okay, I think that there's more of a market also for planning and doing more on the decor and planning side instead of just the flower side. So it would be just more facets to the business at that point. But I think that that's when you guys really felt so they were starting to do more events in venues and more commercial places.
Right.
That they're oh yeah, this is bigger than we thought.
Right.
Bigger, it's still labor of love, but it's turning into something bigger.
Right.
So
opportunity to make a little bit of cash money on the side and make it more of a job. So what were you guys doing before?
So I am a nurse.
Nice.
So I work at the local at the Logan Regional Hospital. And so I've been a nurse for 20 plus years. And so that's really what my profession is. And there wasn't really time for me to do as many weddings as we are doing with me having a full-time job.
Right.
And so bringing Arlette on was very helpful for that because she owns the Ryder Mansion. And so she could help with the business side of that, but also meet brides or families needing funeral help, things like that during the business hours where I could come after work and help do the flowers or make orders during the midnight hours.
Right.
So, anyway,
social media.
All of the social media.
So I think that bringing Arlette on helped us to kind of launch into being able to have more opportunities for people to hire us for their weddings.
And really just you're saying, just to have the manpower to be able to launch.
Right. I think it's really important that you bring somebody in that, they know what they're doing, but they're also willing to do whatever needs to be done. Lots of people, I've been listening to a lot of books recently, and they talk about how important it is to have the help, to be able to have somebody that's going to be able to support you and be able to back you and make sure that things get done.
Yeah.
Well, and being self-employed, you are really the copy person, the assistant, the landscape maintenance person outside. Like you do it all and you can't not. You have to be willing to do it. You really do, to do all the facets of the business. A lot of people will have people come to us, bring us resumes. Oh, I've always dreamed of being a florist, and like the whole romantic side of it.
Right.
But we are like quick to point out, or like when we're interviewing, to go, there's a lot of other stuff that comes along with the romantic side of it.
It's not just making flowers.
Exactly.
There's a ton more when it comes to, I mean, the orchestrating of everything, the planning of everything. So how do you guys plan, like along the lines of planning? What's your strategy look like with that? Do you like calendar everything out months in advance? And
we live by our phones.
Nice.
Just because the schedule is so important. Basically, it's that. Calendaring out everything.
Right.
There's a lot that I don't think people realize go into the ordering process of flowers and how detailed that is. We spend a lot of time in the plan we call it a recipe. So we make a recipe for each, like even just for this simple arrangement
Lovely
here, we
little-
would have made a recipe for it, especially in a wedding. There's so many different details and different parts of a wedding. So the calendar, the schedule, we live by that.
Yeah. And I think probably the recipe is the biggest part, because that helps us to explain to people, like, this is where your cost is coming. Because a lot of people have like this Pinterest dream.
Right.
And then when
Of course.
we sit down and do all the work for it, they're like, oh my goodness, I didn't realize that would cost that much.
Yeah.
Because you see a lot of the stuff in the market is
Right.
like geared to make somebody say, oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. That is exactly what I want.
Right.
And so then when they come to us and we sit down and start planning with them, we, explain to them, well, we could do that, but that will increase
So
your
you're
cost.
aware this is what the budget is for something like that. Because I
Yeah.
think that, like you said, Pinterest doesn't tell that story.
no, Pinterest just tells the pretty side.
Pinterest tells like the fairy tale side,
Yep.
and then us being up at like 3 a.m. tells like the real side.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm more than happy to give anybody the fairy tale.
Right, 100%. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, that's the fun part, is being able to be like, I feel like a lot of the satisfaction has to come from that end result.
I think we're both very much that person. Being able to do something and then see the end result is so rewarding.
Absolutely.
And especially it being someone's, again, we're talking about weddings, but for it to be a part of someone's special day that way and to see it come together and to know that you were just a small part of it, that's so rewarding. And I think that we both like it's not really instant gratification, because there's a lot of planning, but when you're there in the moment and it comes together and you see your bride's face, then we're like, okay, we'll do this again.
Right. It's like a portion of creating magic, really, is kind of what you guys are, like little magicians, which is the coolest thing in the world, but nobody gets to see the background, you know? It's just a sleight of hand type thing.
Yeah.
How much do you think there was in the learning curve of like making that recipe, ordering? I'm sure you have to order flowers X amount of days before, so they're pretty, and you got to figure it out that way. How long did that take to learn?
I don't know. That's really hard, because at first you had to deal with the amounts of flowers that you could order. So when we were first ordering, they would say, okay, well, you can get this great deal and you get 250 roses. And so we're like, okay. So we're like, oh my gosh, we got this great deal. But then we had to figure out, well, would we really use
I have 250
that
roses.
amount of roses?
Yeah.
Or like, and so the earlier days were a little harder, because the leftovers, I mean, it wasn't hard because we just kept them. And
Right.
we were like, oh my gosh, look how pretty our
Look, I have flowers. This is great.
Or like would like donate them to like people that maybe could use a little pick me up or something. But now that we're able to kind of spread that throughout our shop and have our flowers that people order for birthdays or for funerals or for just to say whatever,
right?
That's been helpful for us. So we can take our excess and actually help keep people on budget, but yet still not take a loss ourselves with the flowers that are extra. So that's, so I think as far as it's a big learning curve, and
absolutely,
I would say it could take years for you to be like, oh no, that's what that's exactly. I need one bunch of this, and then creating ways to use the flowers, I think would be more of a way to explain it than just trying to, order, because we are constrained by, the wholesalers. You have to order 10 of this or 25 of this, or some things are single stems. So you just have to know which types of bunches you are getting. So, so I guess It's not
I think
something
it's
you can
all-
just step into.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a learning curve, but it does take, it's a process.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just something you can't teach someone. You just have to, it's almost like any kind of artist who's working with their medium. You just have to get used to what your medium is
And then just go from
and
there.
go for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you just know, like, we can both look at a bouquet now and go, oh, that's probably about this much money.
Yeah.
Right.
This budget. And this is the amount of flowers you need. But it's just, you have to like dig in, work with it. Know, like, this flower is going to get this big. This flower is going to stay this small.
Yeah.
And it really is just working with your medium. And it's taken, I mean, you've been doing flowers for,
A lot of years.
well, I guess since 2007 at least.
Yeah,
So-
2007, I would
and then
say.
all
Yeah.
your practice with your grandma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I it's definitely something that even now still I'm like, oh, like you plan on a flower being a certain size, and then when it comes, you're like, oh, well, I guess they're getting an extra one.
Surprise!
So you do over order for weddings just to help make sure that you're not like stressing yourself out
Right.
because you're like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, these flowers came in microscopic, but you still pay the same price. So it is something that you have to kind of go with, like roll with the punches, I guess is a way to say it. You just make it work. And, Arlette and I are kind of in the thought that we would rather it be beautiful and send it out the door than just
Right.
be like, okay, well, that's all they get.
Yep.
We just want to make it so that it's something that people would appreciate and enjoy.
Absolutely. Well,
When it comes back around.
yeah, exactly. When
Yeah.
when it's your passion, when it's something that like hits your soul, you want your whole heart and soul going out that door. You don't
Yeah.
want it to just be like, well, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, and then word of mouth, of course, goes around, and then
Yeah.
you have people that are talking great things about you. So that's always, I'm sure, super
Yeah.
rewarding.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And when it's going back to when it's your passion, I feel like some people go, oh my gosh, like I can't believe you guys have been doing it for this long, or
Right.
that you'll put up with some of that stuff. But like when it's your passion,
Right.
you don't care.
Just
Like you
do.
don't care that you're up until 3 a.m.
Right.
Like winging it because like your palm fans didn't come in, and so you're going to cut them out of paper. We've done that before.
Arts and crafts all
Or
the time.
yeah, like
That's awesome.
Just things that you're willing to do for your bride, just because it is your passion. And
Right.
a lot of people would think we're crazy, but we love it.
Yeah.
So, our passion.
I think there's something to be said about doing things because it makes you happy and doing things because you're passionate about it, because I'm sure there's other things that you could be doing that would make you way more money. But how rewarding
we've talked
is
about
it?
that.
But how rewarding is it when you weigh the pros and cons? Would you prefer to be making more money and not be doing something that you're happy with, or doing things that just spark your soul every single day?
I know.
I mean, I think one of the benefits that we have is that when we work with a bride or we work with a family, I think it's just like a personal touch that
Absolutely.
we're able to connect with them, and we can say, I have brides that I did your wedding for like 6 years ago that I still
They were still friends
Yeah, we
with.
still
That's
are
so
friends
cool.
with,
Yeah.
or that maybe their sisters have come to us, or maybe they've gotten remarried and
Yeah.
they've still come back to us, and or they come to our shop and they just stop by, and it's just fun to see like people that you have made that connection with, but yet maybe you don't see them
Yeah.
more than once a year.
Yeah.
But you still, when you see them, you're like, oh hey, like update me on your life or something.
Yeah.
And
So-
especially when we've done like a full planning wedding from start to finish, sometimes it takes a year to go through the planning process, so you get to know
Yeah.
this bride, sometimes the groom, but definitely the mother.
Yeah.
You do like form this bond with them and this relationship, and it's sad almost when like the day comes,
Right.
Because you're like, I've been seeing you like every day for a
Yeah.
year.
What do we do?
Yeah. How do we navigate this now?
Right,
How do we
yeah.
stay friends? But
Right,
yeah.
that's been one of the most rewarding things as well, is just being able to stay in their lives. And when they come in the shop, they are instantly reminded of their wedding day, which is awesome. So all those memories come back and they just get
Yeah.
really excited. And that connection, I think, will always stay there. But that's been a really rewarding part of it, is just the connections, like you've said, with
Yeah.
the families and I mean, heck, even some dads we've been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because they're like,
really
thank you for
cute
making
dads.
my, yeah.
Oh, that's so
Yeah.
sweet.
Like,
Yeah.
thank us over and over, just thank you
Yeah.
for making this so special for my daughter. And
Yeah. Well, and we've formed connections not only with like the brides and stuff, but all of the other vendors. We have some really amazing vendors in
Yeah.
our valley.
We do.
And
Cache Valley has amazing
yeah,
vendors.
So cool.
And we
Yeah.
have a lot of like women-owned businesses, like photographers that are just fantastic to work with.
Yeah.
We just have a good crew of
community.
people, and it's like we can support each other, especially through kind of trying times. It's
Right.
been nice to be able to, like we've gotten like this little quick little Venmo that says, hey, go buy yourself a cookie, just from like
that's
From
so
a photographer.
cute.
She's awesome, yeah.
Our friends that are photographers, and we've been able to do some kind of charity work, and like we called up one of our photographer friends, and we were like, hey, Rachel, I know this is so last minute, but could you help do this?
Yeah.
And she like jumped on the chance to just help
Or shoot
other
a wedding,
people, and
yeah.
she shot the wedding, and we were like, you only have to stay there for like a half an hour, but she stayed the entire time.
Oh,
and
that's so
she
cool.
had, just like this love for people.
Right.
And I think that's a lot of our, the people in our valley
Yeah.
are just like so willing to just, step up and just
Right.
help make people feel special, and, help almost reward people that have been through a lot. And,
Yeah.
and we can actually just, give it back to the community as well.
Actually, now that you say that, can we talk about our Brides Give Back?
For
real
sure,
quick?
yeah.
Yeah.
So we have a program that's called #Brides Give Back. So we've had so many brides in the past that say, what can I do with my flowers? Like they don't want to
Yeah.
take them home, or they've traveled, they're doing a destination wedding. They don't want to take their flowers. So we'll bring them back to the shop. We recreate them, put them in different containers, and take them to nursing homes.
Oh, that's cool.
The cancer center at the hospital, the women's center, things
Yeah.
like that. Because the brides are just like, now what do I do? How
Right.
can I give back? So I just wanted
Yeah.
to shout out for
Yeah.
our amazing couples that are just like, what can I do now? I've had this
Yeah.
amazing day. So what
Yeah.
can I do afterwards?
Yeah. And with this whole pandemic, we had one bride that was like, I understand my wedding is like this next week. We have to cancel. I know you've already ordered the flowers.
Right.
What do I like? I mean, I would still love to take the flowers and give them to someone. And by some chance, her order got lost or whatever. And I was just like, you know what? You're just rewarded.
Right.
You're still
Works
going to have her
out, yeah.
flowers.
Yep.
She didn't have to she didn't have to give them away.
Right.
But I think she'll still probably do something
Yeah.
like that, because she
That's
just seems
cool.
like that
Wanted
kind of
to,
a
yeah.
person that was like,
Yeah.
you know what, I'm just going to take this lemon that I've been given and make some lemonade.
That's
and
cool.
I'm going to go, donate my flowers. And so when I called her, I was like, your flowers actually didn't really come. And she's like, really?
Really?
It's because
We're
you
like,
were
and I promise that's
rewarded.
not going to happen when you actually have your
Oh, yeah. Don't worry.
But I was like, you just need to be like, you just need to know that because you are so sweet, it's just like karma's on your side.
Right.
Just like there are things that have happened with some of our brides, or like, we're like, oh my gosh, sure, you want to, or, add like 4 arrangements. We can do that.
We can do
Yeah,
that.
But then
that's
it always
great.
just seems to work out, like I think I know that like people go through a lot of stuff, and
Right.
but sometimes we feel that maybe karma's
That's so
coming
cool.
back to us a little bit.
I'm such an energy person. Like I've talked a lot recently about like putting good things in, and you always get it back. But I think that's something that like goes directly back to both of your character, I mean, Terri, you're talking about how you're a nurse, and so you care about people, you care about the humans, you care about making sure that the people are taken care of, and that goes directly back into the flowers because it's more of like a labor of love. Like that's exactly what it is that your heart becomes full and it overflows. That's one of my favorite like sayings that I've ever heard, is that, you can't fill somebody else's cup if you're half empty, but if you're filling your own cup first, you're going to overflow into everybody else's. And that's kind of that's kind of the vibe that I get from here, especially. And I like that. I like that a lot. You're welcome. You guys are awesome. So I want to hear about, now we're going to get a little bit like deeper. I want to hear about your struggles, like your biggest struggles that you guys have had with business, because I know you guys have recently rebranded, and I can't imagine what kind of rebranding that had to have go through. So what would you say is like the biggest struggle that you guys have had?
I was probably the bigger antagonist, I think, in that process. Because it scares me. Like, I'm definitely like a let's go for it kind of person.
Right.
Like, I'm very optimistic, but it scared me so
100%.
badly, 100%
Yeah.
to rebrand, just because I'm like, we have a good name, we're
Yep.
out there,
Yep.
but there were some things that happened in our business prior that we needed to just, Terri talked about this before, like heal and just move
Yeah.
forward. And we tossed that back and forth for how long? A year at least.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I just wanted to be done with that chapter, and I think that was really hard for me, because I was like, I just had been hurt so bad, and I don't know. It's like I don't really talk about it a lot,
Right.
just because of all of everything that went down.
Right.
But I just wanted to make a change, because that part of my life, I mean, having Dahlia in first and third was great. I mean, it was hard.
Yeah.
But I just needed a change. And I think that for me, I was like, I just need something different. I need it to be a fresh start.
Yeah.
And so I think by, just like a simple name change, I think that like my vision for that was that we could change our name, but then we could still be the same people.
Right.
And I think that's what we've
tried really hard.
So,
of course, like what goes on in my mind when she's like, I just need to move forward. I just need a new chapter. And I'm like, logistics, like
right.
going, we are going to have to our name is going to have to be at the forefront of
Everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that's the most important thing when you rebrand. So we were like, okay, we have to hit it hard on social media. We have to get new signage. We have to do our billboard. We have to do new sign out front. And so just everybody, the curiosity, I think, would make people go, what is this?
Right.
And at first it was hard, but I think it only lasted, as long as it took a while to get everything into place to do that. But
Right.
once we launched, I think the questions were maybe a couple of weeks.
Right. And it was like, wait, are you guys the same? And it was like, yes.
Yes.
It was like,
We're the same.
okay, great.
And I think we
did a radio ad at Valentine's.
There you go.
So we're like, okay,
same faces.
Our little tagline had to be
Yeah.
just we are the same people.
Yeah.
Right.
Same what you're used to, the same connection, the same feeling, the same product. You're going to get it.
Well, I think that's really important to be able to move forward. I mean, especially when there's negative things that are in your life. Sometimes you just have to close a chapter and you have to get a new name. And I can't even imagine. I mean, being able to start different accounts, different everything, all of the breakdown of it has got to be crazy. But
and
it's a new vibe.
it is.
Yeah.
And we tried to simplify our life as well.
Right.
We did, like you said, we had 4 bank accounts, 2 sets of taxes.
Ridiculous.
Arlette was like,
I can't.
Right.
Any longer.
Right.
And so we have simplified it and just made it so that it's all just one, we can still do our weddings, we can still do funerals, we can still do flowers for whatever occasion
Right.
people want. And we do have little gift items, and we've the customers that we have that have been so loyal to us have been amazing and have reached out to us, and it's
And
been
I think
really
once
great.
they got over that hump of what's going on. Oh no, you ripped
Right.
the rug out from under us. I think that Fleur is a more enveloping name. It does help people know that we do
It's everything.
It's everything. It's not oh, this is the retail side. Oh, this is the
Right.
wedding side. But we have been able to take everything that we do and give it to them in a nice, pretty package.
Right.
And so that they do go, oh, I can go to you for funerals, or
Yep.
I can go to you for a birthday arrangement. Oh, and you do deliveries. But I think just putting it under one name, we both saw that in the beginning.
Yeah.
Just a little afraid.
Right.
But then
Yeah.
once we were just okay, we're going for it, then.
Well,
yeah.
taking a leap like that is hard. It's really difficult. But that was going to be actually my next question. When it comes to your branding, because to start off with, you said that you guys were doing just wedding type flowers, and it was oh, well, we can do other things. How have you guys found it to be the easiest to be able to brand that you offer different things? It's not just wedding stuff.
I don't know. I think, the other day I posted, it's been a little bit, but I posted about doing funeral flowers. And then the next day, 2 or 3 people called and they're like, you do funeral flowers?
Right. I had no idea.
Just the word of mouth of Instagram and Valentine's Day, we did some advertising and said, we can do whatever you want.
Right.
But then for Mother's Day, we didn't really know what to plan because our Mother's Day before wasn't out of control. I had surgery over Mother's Day and Arlette survived. So,
But we were just okay, we're getting busier, and it's been busier, and the pandemic it's been an interesting
adaptation, I'm sure.
twist of fate. I don't know, weird.
Right.
Yeah, we've had to evolve a little bit, but
yeah.
we haven't been able. We thought, okay, we'll plan on 15% more, just because our everyday business has been better, but. We were amazed at what happened over Mother's Day. So we are okay, I think that we're attributing that to a little bit the pandemic and what you talked about with Jeremy, but also that we feel like we have done a good job with the rebranding and getting that out there. So people are just getting to know, okay, they don't just do weddings.
Yeah.
But I think it's still hitting it hard with the social media, any kind of advertising you can do. You just have to constantly be on the forefront of people's minds, every day.
Right.
They have to know what you do every day, or people forget. We're humans.
Yeah.
We forget.
Exactly. Because if you're not top of mind, then if people can't find you within 2 seconds, then you're totally irrelevant to them. They don't care anymore.
Yeah.
So what has been like biggest leap of faith for you guys?
I would say just Arlette trusting that we could change our name. I think that was the biggest thing.
I think the biggest leap of faith for me was even prior to that, in just opening the storefront, because prior to having the storefront, the brick and mortar, we were just working out of wherever we could find a space.
Right.
Like we would meet with someone at Terry's house and do a consultation there, or over at Ryder Mansion. And so to me, just going, okay, we're going to have so much more overhead, but we saw the window. We were like, this is the time to do it.
Right.
We just kind of looked at each other and went, are we doing this? We're doing it.
And I kind of cried a little bit.
I love that.
Sleep. I mean, I don't know.
She knew she was giving up sleep saying yes to that.
Yeah.
But it was the right time. It was the right moment. We were really, we were both afraid to do it, but we knew it was right. We knew that if we were ever going to get bigger, do the other things that we wanted to do, the planning part of it, the everyday flowers, the funerals, that we had to have the storefront. So that, I think I think it was the biggest hurdle. It was a lot of sweat and tears, but we knew it was right. We knew to move forward. And it's not to say that we haven't had a million tears shed.
Right. Of course.
Since then, but to me, that was the biggest leap of faith. And then probably second, the rebranding.
Yeah. But like, I posted on Instagram a photo that I had taken in Paris, and I was just walking down the street, and I walked around a corner, and the cutest flower shop. There was nothing like amazing about it. It had like beautiful.
You're going to shed some tears now?
No, I'm not.
I did yesterday. It's fine.
Anyway, so I walked by the flower shop, and it was just the cutest, simple flower shop. But like the sign of it, I was like, oh my goodness, that is like, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And so that's
it was
kind
like
of
the
where
whole package for you too, like the feeling.
Yeah.
In Paris, the signage was beautiful. The shop itself was beautiful. And I think that was the turning point for you.
I know.
In
I
the
was like,
in the
I
rebranding.
just don't. I just didn't.
She immediately. I wasn't with her on that trip, and she immediately sent me this photo. This is what we need.
Yeah. So my brother actually helped us do our branding. So I sent some pictures of like the signage and just like some of the things that we liked, like the muted flowers, just like a different font that was a little bit fancy, but not too
Just a really European feel, like a classic European feel.
Yeah, and just like small little outlines, and just kind of gave him some ideas, and he kind of created the actual wording of the font, and then just from there it just kind of blossomed. So it was just nice to have like something that was fresh and new, and didn't have any connotation from our past, but yet it still is a flower, which Dahlia was a flower,
right?
So flower and Fleur just kind of, but it kind of like it has a little bit of both of us, so it's kind of fun.
So what has been your guys' biggest motivation? Because obviously we've got a pandemic going on, we got all sorts of crazy stuff going on right now. What's been the biggest motivation for you guys to continue on every day?
For me, it's the connections, our people. Like we have such a solid core of brides, couples, customers that I just feel like this obligation to, I guess. And we enjoy it. So,
right, of course.
Like we want it to happen and we want it to continue. So we were just like, how are we going to do this different?
Right.
Obviously weddings have not been able to take place. We've done a few smaller intimate weddings, but all of our couples have been so supportive of us, and we're going to reschedule and we'll make this happen later. But it has really allowed us to focus a little more on our everyday stuff, which has been awesome.
Yeah, and we were talking to Jeremy Jones. He owns Iron Gate Grill, or Iron Gate Catering, I guess. Sorry about that.
It used to be the grill.
It was a grill, and it was caterer.
Right.
So. But he owns Iron Gate, and he just said, like, you guys are giving people the opportunity to touch people in a world where you can't touch people. And I think that really hit home. Just like I see every day, like I see the patients that don't have family members coming in, and like the look on their face when they get like some little package delivery or something like that. It's just been like,
because this is so weird for humans.
Yeah.
Like we're not people that want to social distance, like it's, and I think until he said that, I was like, oh, that is what we're doing. I mean, obviously we love it, but he just was so eloquent about.
Right.
And we just both looked at each other and we were like,
oh,
wow.
I never really thought of it that way,
Yeah.
but it really is like we're giving people an opportunity to send something into the world that is like, hey, I still love you. I want you to know that I'm supportive of you. Congratulations, or I'm very sorry for you, and I want to make sure that you know that I'm thinking of you.
Yeah.
There's just so many reasons why you can give flowers, and I think that's been, really shown, like it's kind of shown through in this pandemic. So, people are thankful for people, and I think that's another reason, people are like, hey, what could I do to make them know that I am grateful for what they did for me? So I think
we've had so many, like, I was just thinking of Christy, like one of our past, she was actually an aunt. Well, she was a mother of the bride at one time, but this other wedding that I'm thinking of, she was the aunt, and she was so appreciative of us going above and beyond. But she, during this time, has been so amazing. She just, like, almost weekly, she'll just go, who can I send flowers to?
That's cool.
And it is like just a random group of people, but she's really taking it to heart of who needs this right now. She actually even did lunch for healthcare workers. Her business did.
Yeah, there's been
But
so many great
so
people
many
in the
people that
Valley.
we've met because of a wedding or something like that now are like, how can I pay it forward? How can I put it out into the world right now where people really, really need it?
Yeah. That's cool to be able to have that little positive piece every single day. You get to find the little good things and go from there.
And I don't think at the
so
beginning
cool.
of all of this, I mean, what we were afraid of when this all started, we were like, okay, like how are we going to evolve? What does this mean for us? Are we going to be just like super slow for a little while? And just trying to figure out what that actually meant. But I mean, at one point I was like, oh, good. I guess I'll get caught up on paperwork. Like, I don't know.
I know,
Right.
that's what we were like, Arlette is going to have so much downtime.
Taxes done.
And we're like,
Without filing an extension.
Quarantine us for 14 days. It's
Which
fine.
hasn't happened, which is amazing,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
I mean, not that I wouldn't have liked to get that done, but
Right.
so amazing. I don't think we would have guessed how people would have responded to it and just how they want to be involved and help
I agree.
Yeah.
their people.
Yeah, exactly. It goes right down to the human element of it, and they're people.
Yeah.
What advice would you guys give to people who are maybe getting ready to start their own business, or maybe kind of like, I don't really know?
Don't be afraid to lose sleep.
Yeah.
Fair.
That's definitely one of them. But also don't lose sight.
Yeah.
Because I think you can get muddled in all
Absolutely.
of the logistics side of it that Terry so always lovingly refers to. That's Arlette's job.
Yeah.
But like to just not get caught up in that because there is so much more. And you had your idea, you had your spark for a reason.
Right.
And to always keep your end goal in mind, I think, because I think once you start, there's so much of that, like tax ID numbers and bank accounts and just
All
the
the
daily
technical
bookkeeping
stuff,
and all that.
yeah.
Yes. That it does that's like sometimes not the fun part of it.
Right.
So I think it would be easy to just go, I don't know how bad I want this.
Right.
But it is so rewarding once you get over the hurdle of initially starting to just go, okay, I actually really do like this and I don't even mind losing sleep.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Most of the time.
And I think it's hard.
Yeah.
You have to realize that it's not an easy thing. And there is going to be days that you're like, you want to cry because you're tired and you're, frustrated, or maybe something's not going right or everything's not going right in your life. But I think if you just press on and just know that this will pass, it does get better. It's,
You just have to take a breather
Yeah.
for a second,
Yeah.
just to back off and just go, it is okay. And maybe that wasn't as big a deal as I thought it was.
And I think we are pretty good at we have to go on a vacation.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you have to kind of
Reward
step back from it
yourself.
every once in a while.
Yeah.
In November, we went to Tahiti. It was
Fun.
so awesome. But we just we really didn't do anything business.
We took a break.
Good.
We
did.
just kind of stepped back and we're like, you know what? They're taking care of things at home while
And to
we're-
trust the people that
Yeah.
you hired,
Yeah.
is a big deal.
Yeah,
And I think
so-
one of the biggest things too, the scariest thing I think going into business is once the initial part of it is fun, trying to figure out what is my brand, what is my
Right,
message,
right.
what am I trying to put out there, but then realizing that if I don't work, then nothing happens.
Right.
It really does come down to just you. I
Right.
can't just walk away from something because it won't happen.
Right.
You are the final. So I think realizing that sometimes is scary, but also motivating as well.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
because it gets you kind of going
Yeah.
okay, so let's find a way to work around it.
Yeah.
If it won't
Yeah.
work this way, then let's figure out
Yeah.
a different way.
Because the buck stops with us. Like
Yep.
if we don't do it, it won't get done.
Right.
I mean, we have good employees, but
Right, of
really
course,
when you're
but,
the boss,
of course, but right.
Yes.
That it falls directly on top
Yeah.
of you.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think you just have to like kind of like they say, everybody has a tribe, and my family and Arlette's family, like Arlette's boys
Major
are the ones
support,
that
yeah.
do our yard work, and like I call my
Deliveries.
sister and I'm like, "Hi, could you come in and help us?" Or
Yeah.
like on Valentine's Day, my mom made meals and we just had them upstairs so that we could all just
So you
like,
don't, because you live at the shop
Yeah.
for 3
Well,
days.
yeah,
so.
for sure.
yeah. So I mean, you have to just like embrace your family
Yeah.
and your friends, and like there are some ladies that we call and we're like, "Hey, what you doing this weekend?" Just like they're so great, and they all love to help. And I think we just try and make it like a good environment for everyone, and they realize that when we're like, "Hey, could you help?" We're
Yeah.
like really like
Desperate. You really
That's
really
an
need
excellent
it.
point,
Yeah.
especially like going back to the what advice would we give to anybody starting their business? Like find your tribe for
Yeah.
real, because they will be such like huge support that you never even could have even imagined. And I think you need it. There's being self-employed, you have to have support. Like it's so intense.
Yeah.
yeah.
But
Well,
find
just
your
like,
tribe.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
on Mother's Day, my sister came in to bring us cookies or something. I don't know. But she was like, I was like, "Could you just help me for 1 second?" And she's like, "Oh no, what do you need?" Like they always say. But then she was like, "Okay, well, I'm going to get these like 3 delivery
She
runs
just, like,
down."
hopped in
And she
and
just hopped in and
organized
did
for
it.
us.
And
Oh, that's so
it's just
cool.
awesome that we have like such great people in
Yeah.
our lives that help us. And,
Yeah.
like, I mean, Arlette's sons and their high school friends are like our best delivery guys.
Really?
They're
I
like,
mean, they're just hoping they meet some cute girl.
Right,
and they're
right.
I know, they're like, "Oh, but
yeah, I'll deliver that. Where's it going? Yeah.
That's so
it's
fun.
But yeah, we did. I mean, it's just like fun things that we try and
Yeah.
do. Like for Lauren, our little shop girl, it's what I call her, but she's
Oh,
my niece. But we did like a little mini prom with her and her friend.
Oh,
and
fun.
We took her to the
Pandemic.
Ryder Mansion, and just like they're just like
Their prom got canceled.
Right.
yeah. So we just want to try and find things that are like,
Yeah.
fun and just uplifting.
Yeah.
And I think that's like our biggest thing is
reward
that we
the support
we
that
don't
you have,
want like we don't want to be that shop that doesn't care about what
Yeah.
goes out the door or just orders any flour that they can find that's cheap.
We
That's-
always laugh because sometimes we're like, oh my gosh, like that was like over the top, above and beyond. But that is
Yeah.
who we are. But we're always like, we are florists who care.
Yeah. That's how it goes.
We'll do something so
Yep.
silly, and then we're like, oh my gosh, we are florists who care. No one else would do that.
So when it comes to goal setting, because I've been asking people how they normally do you guys write it down? Do you guys visualize? What do you guys do when it comes to
We
your goals?
actually are really good about doing a weekly just team meeting. And when I say team, that is us.
What up? Team is here. Yeah.
So we're really good about that,
Yeah.
and we rely a ton on text, especially right now when Terry's at the hospital. But we have a set agenda that we go over each week and just hit the main points of what we need to do and look forward to the next week. And then for us, it's a lot of it, especially being a floral shop, is holiday driven.
Right,
So
right.
our goals a lot of the times just revolve around any kind of
Yeah.
holiday, or like if we're doing a giveaway on social media. But
Right.
we are really good weekly to go through our little bullet points of what we need to do in our goals that we need to work towards or check them off the list.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. Where can people find you guys? Social media, physically, all of the above.
Physically always here.
Always here. Perfect.
or if you get sick.
Right.
You might find me.
Right. Well,
Yes.
I'm the late night girl. So we watch a lot of Hulu.
We
there
do.
you go.
Keeps us going.
We had to get the commercial free though.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, yeah. I know. I can't, I feel that. I feel that.
Do it.
But so we're always available.
Okay.
So our actual location is 320 North 100 East.
Perfect.
My house is on 100 West, so I always get it wrong.
always
So
get it thrown
if I
off.
ever get asked the address, I have to pause and make sure I'm not giving them my house.
So say it one more time so we know that
320 North,
Perfect.
100 East in Logan.
Perfect.
And so basically the corner of First and Third, which is our previous name,
Correct.
so that you can kind of remember it. And then we have a shop phone, so you can always call the shop phone. It's 435-799-3350. And then just as far as like if there is, I mean, we're like concierge florists, so
my cell phone number is on the front door. So if you
Yeah.
ever need after hours flowers,
Yeah.
but then on
So-
the socials.
in like social media, we have Instagram. It's the _Fleur Market, and then we do have a fleurmarket.shop, which is our it used to be
More
First
of the
and
retail
Third.
side of it,
Right.
Yeah, so we mostly update our the Fleur Market.
And most
Instagram.
importantly, if you want deliveries, thefleurmarket.com.
Perfect.
We can do deliveries and set up consultations for weddings on that website.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Cool.
so-
Well, thank you guys so much.
you.
Anything else you'd like to add?
I don't know. It's so awesome to chat with you. And
Oh,
thank
yeah.
you for
Yeah.
thinking of us.
Well, thank
Yeah.
you guys for being willing to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, this is awesome. This has been So You Want to Start a Business, episode number, I think, 9.